Hey people, I'm going to show you the real origin of this ancient swastika symbol. And a lot of you jumped up and said it's a symbol of good luck, and that would be wrong. But this is a good clue right here. You can see it often has to do with the feet. So I'm going to show you where you can read about this in the Hebrew Bible. But even in ancient time, it was had to do with the feet. In the Isle of Man, it was just 3 feet with a star or a spur. But it was originally a star. 4 stars, a star in the middle. I did a 2-part movie last week about the ancient engine, or the oxen, the gin. You can see here, even today they use it. He's making some tequila and scraping all that agave hearts down where that stone will roll over him. And he just follows behind that horse. I'm sure if he ever poked that horse in the butt one time with that pitchfork, he'll never have to worry about doing it again. That horse will just stay in front of him, and he just walks around scraping those hearts underneath that stone. So it's the same ancient word for pitchfork. You can see here, so scattered abroad to make picks, px, and so he spreads them out or piles them up where they need to be with that pitchfork, px. You can see it again here. Let be scattered your enemies to make picks to, vav yod px vav, to make picks to. So what you're looking at is 4 letter G's in a circle. All the ancient language drew it. It was a foot. It was their image of a foot. Goes either way. And so this foot, it means to carry or to lift. When you're ginning something, you're trying to lift the seed. The N is a seed or a fish or a cycle. If you want to catch some fish, you would use a N, the fish, tet, to collect, to gather. And that's one of the letter T's, the net, to catch fish. But the gin, you're lifting the seed first, and so they might be throwing grapes in there to smash the juice out. The seed is the product that you want, not necessarily the seed, but to get the juice, to get whatever you're wanting out of it, you put it in the gin. And so this is the gin, and so this is a small gin, and you would crank it with your hand, and all the ginning is going on over here. But when you're cranking it, it's called to nig, N-G, to nig the gin. And so then to nig the gin is to the cycles. You don't see it here. You see it in some of the charts, perpetuate life, but it continuous here, the cycle, continuous, active, continuous. And so the nig is the cycle, the foot, and that's to walk or to run. And so we know this in the ancient English and in the Egyptian language. When they wrote a sentence, the verb came first, and even in this English, the verb comes first, and it's in the word verb. It'll start here, and the V could be either the vav or the bet, or both used is a V, but it means in or connect. And they probably spelled it with a I back then to make, or even with the E to end the, and then the head R is first, and then B is in, V-E-R-B would be to connect the first in. And so when you're reading an Egyptian note, it'll start with the verb. And ran quickly, Moses did. It won't start with Moses. And so that's the biggest clue that tells me that they got some misinterpretations in the Hebrew Bible, because the verb comes first. So the reason they're trying to cover this up is it's the first day of the Bible. It's the first knowledge you're supposed to learn. You see in line 4, where? To make first knowledge. Vav, to, yod, make, or first, a knowledge. Where? Where the hell am I? And it's the first knowledge. That's why it was worldwide. Everybody had the first knowledge. They all knew. Talks about it a little bit there, but in Genesis 2, right after the day of rest, it'll talk more about it. Right after the creation of man. And so this is Allah. Starts with A, it reads backwards, but either way it's Allah. And this is Allah told what the Shamis where cross be bare from. B-E-B-R-A-M. Final M, pronounces the S or M, from. Be bare as. And so this is Allah. This is the base word for God. All through every word in the Bible they say means God, or 90% of them. There's over 100 of them. This is the base word, is A-L-E. And we see it, sometimes they say it means oak. Sometimes they say it means these. Often they say it means these. You can see that same word here, A-L-E, E-L-A, the God of Israel, of the God, of the commandment of the God, God of heaven, God of Jerusalem, God of heaven, God of my fathers, God of Daniel, God of heaven. And then sometime they'll give it the name of this Allah, Chief Allah, same word, A-L-E. And then sometime it's the Tabernacle tree, and sometime it means oak tree. They just make all this up as they go along, is what I'm trying to get to. Sometimes they'll tell you it means an oath, A-L-E, Allah. Sometimes there's another word that means oath that comes after it, so they'll say it means to take. So don't get mad at the Jews. They can't read this. They wrote them another Bible. And anybody that pretends to be able to read this, they're lying, because it doesn't say what they say it is. But this is Allah tooled what? It's a play on words, not necessarily told what, but tooled, T-U-L-D, tooled it. He shaped what the Shamis, the planets and the stars and all the heavens, where the Shamis wears cross be bare from, whereat the cross is bare from. By use as what you from Yella, that's Yella is the sun, the light shining from Yella, to share two Shamis, to call, and then read backwards, look to call, look to seek the side, the therm, the therm is where your word warm, thermal come from, but T-H-R-S Aya, their Saya. Their Saya is like a Messiah, where their Saya comes from, where the light's coming from, where the Saya bears. And to call, and clubs, K-L reads backwards, B-S, and clubs wash in, the color of the clubs wash in the side of the warm therm. There's jism, J-X-M-H. Jism is the warm sun shining on your face, is the jism of Mayela, the warm jism. And he says, kill the mother, you from Yell, All share ears. All shares. Everybody hears it. And adds not. And you can see anything with the A reads backwards. And this is not iron, but it's N-I-A, Naya. And if you read the Greek word for yes, it's actually Naya in code 72. It means no, not, nada, not, and adds not loved, L-O-V-D, not love to, and then backwards and forwards, the mudda had me, the earth, man come from the earth, the E, the M-D-A, mudda, E-A-D-M-E, had me. The mudda had me. Come from the earth. And then the visual, V-A-D-J-O-L-E, the visual men share ears. And this is a African tribe that sets your birth date on the day that your mama goes out and hears your song, and then she goes and creates the baby. I don't remember the name of that tribe. It's an African tribe that does that. The Himba tribe. You can read about that at the Mind Unleashed over on Facebook, or just Google African birth song, and you find other places you can read about it. But the song is created. She goes out and hears the song, and then the spirit teaches her the song. Then she goes and teaches the midwife, so that everybody in that village knows when that baby's born. They all sing that song. And after you done said something wrong, the old men share ears. They talk about it. And the squaw, the women, and the S-Q-H, the squaw, talk, T-A-L-K, reads backwards and forwards, talk, and then the L is of, talk of, in the place, in ping. And the visual men talk of, to share ears, and the squaw talk of, in the place the mudda had me, the place you were born. Every birthday, that baby hears that song, and when it gets to be a teenager, starts messing up, they'll sing that song, and that baby just cry and never mess up again. And then to make Jaxer, and Jaxer, that's the one that's disappeared. To make the plants first, and it's the most important thing. To make Jaxer, you from Yell to the maid had from, or to maid had from, offer, O-P-R, to offer men, the mudda had me, the earth, and to wipe, W-I-P-H, to wipe in a poo, the nose empty. So in, B is in, the power, the P-I is the mouth, and the Vav is connected. In the power of the mouth connected, the nose empty. To exhale, to wipe in exhale. The high is the wage. Had from of naps, chi, C-H-I-E, chi is the life-giving force, the chi. Your chi is your solar plexus. But this is where I was wanting to get to in the planning of the garden. So this is with or W-I-T-H, T-H, and then I into C. With C, you from Yell, Jin and Cian Odin. So the reason it says it's talking about you from Yell, this is this old Egyptian story where the king, and this is to the king, and when the king dies, he becomes the new Ra. He's the new son. He's the new Yella. He's the king's son. With C-U from Yell, Jin and Cian Odin. Gonna end Cian Odin. the olden times, in Odin. From Feds, QDS, from PHDS, from the Feds, Vices, VI, and see this dot on this S is on the other side, so it's pronounced as a S. If it was O to the right, it would be a SH. But the Vices, shush, to make quiet, SM. The final M is pronounced as S. To shush to. The Vices, shush to. Want to put an end, gonna end C in the Odin from the Feds, Vices, to shush to. To made had from raise Jaxer, to make the plants first. And then to jism, to the warm sun shining. To the jism, you from yell, the men the day had from the past. The Celts, KL, and then this reads backwards and forwards. So the X is the TS, X or TS or TZ. This is Celts, the Celts ox. The men them day had from the Celts ox, the Irish ox, nomad of Maria, the nomads wandering of the ocean, the Celts as nomads the ocean. So this NH here, I read that as O because when it talks about no in the Bible, that's the spelling is just NH, Noah, the nomad of the ocean, the Celts ox, nomad of the ocean. So this thub, THUB or THUV, this is where your word hub comes from. And so WT and then HUB. What hub? The center of Mackelvox. Mackelvox. You know, all them Irish, their names all start with Mac, M-A-K. MacNeil, McMyer. Of the Mackelvox, V-O-X. The Vox, that's your old Celtic word for the people. The Vox. The high is and took the gin and ox. The dot thov where see. And to give the gin and ox the dot thov where see. So if you come back up here at the beginning of this chapter, the creation of man, and so this could also be read the LATULDUT, the little dot of the shamies, whereas be bare from, by use as what you from yella share to the shamies, what the sun shares to the shamies. So if you wake up in the middle of the night and you don't have a clock, you can look up at the moon and you get an idea about what time it is. If this moon's sitting dead overhead, you know it's pretty much midnight. The sun's on the opposite side of the earth right now. And if you look over to the west and you see this moon, then you know it's about midnight. So this is the jism that from Yella shares with the shamies. But this is the other clock. This is the dot, the little dot in the center in thub where see. And so right now it's Polaris. This is the tail of the Little Dipper, and this is the Big Dipper going around, and this is on the tail end of the Little Dipper, and so that's a good way to spot it. If you could spot the Big Dipper and look at these two stars here, and 5 times in the direction they're going, 5 times you can find the North Star, and it'll be a tail of the Little Dipper, looks similar to this one. So you're looking at a 24-hour period, and so you're not going to see this because the sun's going to be up half the day for 12 hours, and so you're only going to see half this, maybe from here to here, or sometime from here to here, depending on the time of the year. The Big Dipper is the easiest one to find, and you line up these 2 points and go about 5 times that distance, and you'll find the North Star Polaris. The North Pole is traveling, and so this is currently our North Pole, but 5,000 years ago, when this Bible was written, Thuven was the North Star. Thuven is known as the Draco's ass. That's where all serpents give birth from. It was Thuven. And a snake is born out of that snake's ass. And that was Dot Thub, the little Dot Thub. So it was closer, it's here now. It was closer to the Big Dipper. And so you could, depending on your parallel, if you was 30 degrees, you could watch this dipper constantly go around. It would go down and scoop up water out of the med and lift it up and dump it out. Every 24-hour cycle, it would take a scoop and dump it back out. So this was your nighttime clock. And it would go around, and you could see it 12 hours a day. And so around September, you'll see that dipper in these 12 hours. As you know, this is 6, 12, 6 in the morning. And you wouldn't see it then, but it's midday, 6 o'clock the next day. And so this is on September 8th. And so there's 365 days. And so what you could do is you add 1 degree every day. And every 3 months, add 1 more degree for your 3 months, like a Enoch calendar. And that'll give you 364 days or 364 degrees. And you could just add 1 more degree for the year, and it'll give you pretty accurate clock throughout the year. So come in March, you're going to see it here in the night. And this will be 6 in the morning, noon, 6 in the evening. And you'll see it here. And so this little Dot Thub, this is the center of your clock. This is where your hands are connected. And this is an hour hand running backwards. And so this is the jinn. This is the ox in the jinn. This is the ox that nigs the jinn, that cycles, carries the jinn, the generation. So it's a 24-hour clock. So what you could do is you could set it up like this and figure out where your star is and just move every 15 days. It'd be 1 month, 2 months, and 3 months, and then you add 1 degree. And that clock will keep up. So it doesn't work real good during the day, but at night you could tell the time fairly accurate with the Dot Thub, with the ox in the jinn. You can see here's the hub. The THUB would be the mark hub, the mark of the center. So this is your hub, your wheel and your hub. You see the little gears turning over here. And the 4 rivers. That's what we was getting into, we was reading. That was coming up next, is these 4 rivers it's talking about. And so a serpent doesn't mean evil. A serpent means knowledgeable. And they change it to evil because they don't want anybody knowledgeable. They like us dumb as possible. to X the dot thub, where's C? The dot center. And then it goes into the river went out of Eden to water the garden. From there it parted into four races, R-A-S-I-S. And it's not four races, it's the of arbor, of the tree of races. And it says shush. It doesn't say the name, it says shush, to keep quiet the name of the sieve in, to deceive. Who deceive in? Who deceives? And so back on this first day, it says, where from yella to row the oar and key. And so it tells me to read this backwards. And this is where the both hub, or in with of, in both hubs. And so it's turning two hubs. So it's turning one hub, and it's getting a click every day, one more degree every day. And so it's turning the hub of the days, and it's turning the hubs of the years at the same time. And so it's keying both hubs into the four races, the tree of races. Alright people, I'm going to cut this off here. Quit letting them tear down your old monuments and destroy all our old information. They're destroying it fast. They're outlawing words and outlawing symbols just in order to do nothing but keep us ignorant. Alright, good day.